One of my favorite times is trying to think of the first thing to tell you when I come out of the abyss into our discussion here. What do I say? How do I explain? How do I put into words the way to summarize today's thinking? What's the best way to start off? Not by usually saying the same thing, the same routine, but how do you say something in a way that really impacts upon you the necessity of what's happening? Where do I start? What's the most important thing? And the first thing, the most important thing, I'm right off the bat, what I noticed today, what's so important, is this idea, this thing, this world that deals specifically with, I guess, disaster. Disaster. I was reading a story, Costco, all of a sudden are noticing, and you can always see what's going on in the world. Costco is selling doomsday items, gold, silver, precious metals, preparation. Americans are recognizing this thing called doomsday. And I have been noticing that you can always tell by virtue of what people find. You can always tell by how what items sell and what don't, if that makes any sense. Let me give you an example. I've been with preparewithlionel.com for a long time. And they have a deal right now. You can save $50 on a 4-week emergency food supply. Okay. Now, a while back, people would say, I don't know if we necessarily need this. I don't know, there you go again. Seriously. And I'm serious. And people would say, well, I think this is, that's that prepper thing. I think that might be some vestige of your, I don't know, idiosyncratic conspiracy. So help me God. They laughed at you. They laughed at people who had in their basement. Remember, what do you want? Air, water. Well, air, of course, I can't help you with the air right now, but food, water, energy, and ammo. The ammo for a different time. When you said that to people, I don't know, a while back, people laughed at you. Just like one day they laughed when I was telling people about geoengineering. It was called chemtrails, but I've been saying this, everybody has, for years. We've all been saying this. Dane Wigington is the paterfamilias of this. He's told you and documented, and people laugh at this. And why, I will never know. Ladies and gentlemen, now look at North Carolina. Look at what's happening. And here is the most important part. Listen to this. There's no one coming to help you. There's no one. There is no one. John Mearsheimer talks about something which is very interesting. John Mearsheimer talks about the fact that he speaks of this anarchic world that we live in. It's anarchic. And what that means is simply this. There is no hierarchy. When you are a country, there's no one to call. There's no 911. There's no emergency. There's no first responder. When you're in a problem, when you're in a real problem, there's no one to call. None. Not even Ghostbusters. There's no hierarchy. Hence, there is an anarchy. You got it? Anarchy. You dig? Good. What's even more important to recognize is that the government now, you would think if these craven, horrible people would say, look, we have to win the election. Mayorkas, go down and help these people out. Do something to help these people out. Bring them something. Bring them food. Bring them something. They're not doing it. $7.50, that's it. And they take their thumb and they dig it in your eye and they're saying, we're giving billions and billions to Israel or Europe or the UK or NATO or name it. But in the Asheville area, the Biltmore House, did you see this North Carolina sheriff basically talking about the militias initiating, reinstituting, recalibrating, coordinating militias? Pay attention to what's happening. This isn't a joke. This isn't a joke. There is, I was reading about in California, kind of the Bay Area, they have these nutrias, these big rodents, there's these nutrias there. There's like this infestation. Remember, sometimes they have what are those flying carp or those fish that jump into boats and all that stuff. Well, there is this influx of people, these horrible, 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 horrible people in government that are, look at the Chicago School Board. They disbanded the Chicago School Board. It's anarchic. Everywhere you go, there is. So let me just tell you something right now. The theme is wonderful. The people who were helping out in North Carolina and Georgia are not the government, not Mayorkas, not Biden. Biden is laughing. He is doing everything to laugh at you. It is something beyond anything we've ever seen before. There are people and citizens. Did you see this one video? There was a golfer, a retired golfer or a race driver or something. I forget what it is. And he's flying his helicopter around. And there's this fellow with a mirror, trying to get, this is like from Gilligan's Island. This is happening right now. Your government's nowhere to be found. Pete Booty Giggity, they told him, don't believe me, if they told him go out, he'd do it. He'd do whatever they told him to do. They're telling you, no, make these people sweat, make them pay. And none of it makes any sense. Why are they doing this during the time of an election? Why are they doing this? Why? I don't know. I don't understand this. Right now, everywhere, just spend some time. I'm seeing, they call it doomsday. Look at metals, look at ammo sales, look at water purifiers. Prepare with Lionel.com. Look at what people are going. Look at what's there. Listen, this is great for us. This is for you. Look at what's available. There are devices. There are treatment systems, energy, and this, and batteries, and generators, and water purification, and waterproof matches, and you name it. Things you've never thought about. Things that devices and things that just frankly we never worried about. You should have worried about because there's always inclement weather, but but this is different. Your government is saying there is no FEMA. Remember when I told you Chris Christie came out and really made his bones and became pretty much on the national scene when he came out and told people during Sandy wearing his fleece jacket. That must have just been, wow, he wore that baby for I don't know how long. But even Andrew Cuomo during the Rona, he came out every day and talked. In the old days, politicians loved to be there to help you during the time of, they don't do this anymore. They don't do it. It doesn't make any sense. So my friends, get ready for, I am telling you right now, this is stuff I never thought even remotely possible. So there it is, my friends. Preparewithlionel.com. Go there. You know what to do. I've never seen anything like it. Never. And these are flying off the shelves. People are smart. Remember whenever you can always watch the purchasing habits of people to understand what they're doing. You also, by the way, it's interesting. You can see things like they used to look in sewers and used to see what people are throwing away to get an idea of where people are. Now, before we get into the horror, Before we get into the real horror, more horror, more horror, I want you to listen to me very good. There is something that is so wonderful about YouTube and Twitter, and it's so wonderful. There is a story. There is a New Orleans jazz clarinetist. Her name is Doreen Ketchens. And I want you to watch this. This was on, I think it's from a Twitter channel called The Jazz Estate. And the thing that keeps me kind of grounded, so to speak, the thing that keeps me grounded is music. It's what I start off in the morning with. It's what it's in the darkness, and it sets me. It's my. I've never meant it. I've never needed it more than I do now. Never. I've never needed it. It is my drug. This is it. Coffee. That's it. In my wizened years, I have a clarity of mind, clarity of focus I have never known in my life. I have never known this in my life. I've never felt like this. I've never felt, you can call it spiritual. I don't know what it is, cosmically, spiritually, neurologically connected into what's going on. I've never felt like this in my life like now. Never. I have never felt like this in my life, ever. It is like something that I don't know what it is. And one of the things I've noticed, in addition to, you hope health, which, knock wood, is the power of music. And there's this one thing where they take these little babies, and babies are so perfect because you find out the how do I say this? You find out the default mechanisms of what they like and what they don't like. There's one video where he plays the guitar and he puts his little baby on the curve of the top of the guitar. So the baby is right there with his little, diaper to absorb it, but his ear right there. And he's playing this very slow, very finger picking, kind of a methodic, very, very wonderful sonority, this wonderful song. And the baby is just like out of it because of music. And they recognize this. That's why when they are growing and when they are grasping and kind of getting their foothold, you must always use music. Music must punctuate them. Music must be this emollient. Watch this. Listen to this woman play and watch how her, I guess, grandchild, again, her name is Doreen Ketchens. This is her grandson. And she happens to be kind of the Benny Goodman of her time. This will put a smile on your face and get us going, I think, in the right direction. Look at that baby. Now she rocks out. Yeah.
Love you, man.
Oh. Doesn't that just kill you? Doesn't that just kill you? Doesn't that just, I find myself now, oh. And I was never that emotional. I don't cry when I'm sad, but I will well up if I'm emotional. If something I see is beautiful or profound, or if it hits you in a way where you think, it's funny, laughing and crying can sometimes be triggered by events that are not sad and that are not funny. Sometimes you can laugh at somebody in the most horrible way. Sometimes you can, in any event, it's a fascinating subject, fascinating indeed. Now, let me give you an idea of something. This is something which is wonderful. There's something called the practice effect. Have you heard this? Okay. Practice effect is, you hear it normally in terms of psych. It's a psych term when you're giving when you're doing what's the word? In psych terms, when you're doing things like you're taking a test, and people will get better at something because of practice. there's also this proficiency where people will just do something after a while, and you get good at it. You go out and you make a speech. You go out and you do. Sometimes people will go on the air, or they'll say, "Listen, I'm not very good at this." I've seen it a million times. Somebody will be on a radio, say, "Well, it's the first time. Well, I'm a little nervous." Okay, fine. First time they're nervous. Second time they feel like I'm pretty good at this. Third time they're great. Fourth time then people have been doing something for years and they're terrific. You just get good at something. You can't help it. You can't help but get better. If you and I were to, you ever seen people debone chickens sometimes sometimes Indian, the Japanese, there's these people who, I forget the name of it. They can take a chicken apart, kind of fabricated chicken. You can't believe they get meat out of things that you never thought was. And somebody said, "We're good at that. How are you good at it?" He says, "I've been doing this my whole life." So you're good at it. Play an instrument, bake a pie, do whatever. You get good at it. One time, Bill Clinton was giving a State of the Union, and the teleprompter went down. He kept going. He said, "Fine." He's a very smart man, but he says, "I kind of know the subject." This is going around today, and if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for the great people on X or Twitter, Colin Rugg, Dom Luker, Mays, RNC, Trump War Room, just go down. You could find there's so many great people. But Kamala was apparently doing something, and her, this is very interesting, her prompter went down, okay? Her prompter. And you would think, well, that's not a big deal because, with a prompter, it's, so what, big deal, whatever, right? Because she doesn't say, her message is not that deep. There's not a lot of facts. So if there's a prompter or no prompter, in fact, they even showed a prompter when she was on with Oprah. This woman I don't know if I don't think she's stupid. I think she just may have she may have a very serious kind of almost a learning disorder or something which disenables her from doing this. Okay, watch this. This is what's you're not going to believe this if you haven't seen it. This is the prompter that goes down, and she is so befuddled. She as we're looking at 30, 31. Actually, it's a month today. And don't forget, October the 26th, 21 days, 3 weeks from today, I'm at the Cutting Room. And tickets are available, and you know how that goes. Okay, now watch this. Watch the horror, and watch how she just panics and can't even speak after her prompter goes down, delivering a speech which she theoretically has been giving her whole life.
Remember his number? 32. Today we got 32 days until the election.
So what? The cackling's back. Here we go. See that? Prompter's down. See that? See the face?
So
see the terror?
32 days. 32 days.
Now watch this again. You got to watch this again. This is when it hits. See, I thought the cackling and the cachinnation was down. See the people behind her? Bust in. See those labor people? Bust in. Forced to sit there. Forced. Okay, now let's watch the moment. Again, watch that moment when the prompter goes down and she realizes, holy shit. There. See it? There.
So
see it?
32 days.
Okay.
32 days. Okay, we got some business to do.
Got some business to do.
All right. 32 days.
32 days.
And we know.
I know that's right.
We'll do it.
We'll do it. Oh, yeah, baby. And we'll finish it.
And this is going to be a very tight race until the very end.
So 32 days.
This is going to be a very tight race until the very end. We are the underdog. And we know we have some hard work ahead.
Don't say you're the underdog. What are you doing? One more time. This is it right here. Let's just go back. I love to see laugh, 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 laugh. And here. This is the oh no. Okay.
So 32 days.
Yeah, baby. Now she was
32 days.
now we got the home
Okay, we got some business to do.
We're gonna take some collard greens. And put them in the tub. Get some vinegar. Maybe a ham hock. Praise God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In the blood of Jesus. Oh, God. Okay. Maybe I'll do a Spanish accent now. Maybe I'll do something else. The fact that this woman has not been laughed off is another story. A friend of mine has coined, I don't know if he did it, but he came me this thing. It's just terrible. It's not funny, but he calls it cerebral palsy. Have you heard this one? He might have said, yeah, it's his. This guy, let me just pick it up. This guy is beyond anything we've seen. Watch. And again, thank God for the internet. Thank God for platforms. Thank God for X, Twitter, YouTube. That's the best way to get information. This says it all, and this is more important than anything. I hate to say it, that the Fox News crew could ever do, because this, by virtue of parody and humor, points out the obvious.
Here it comes, television's most exciting hour of leftist idiots. Today we introduce the man known for embellishing stories, lying about his military record, his travels to China, and doesn't even know what's in the abortion bills he signs as governor. His chronic nervousness is accompanied by erratic and awkward hand motions. And, most notably, he looks absolutely terrified when put on the spot in a debate. All right, Tim Walz, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Dems Aren't Right.
Some of the best stuff available. I can't say this enough. I can't say it enough. People think sometimes, mistakenly, I think, they think that these little memes and gifs and stuff, that they're just so, they mean more than anything else. This is what people will send to each other. This is what people will say, did you see this? And it says it perfectly. And this is all you need. And the best part about it is that if you sat down with him and you said, Tim, yeah, do you think this looks weird? Yes or no? Do you? Do you think this looks weird? Do you think this looks strange? Do you? Tell me. Tell me if you think it looks weird. Tell me if it's odd to you. Tell me if there's anything about this that is scary or problematic or anything along those lines. Is there anything about this, Tim? Can you? Is there anything about that? Just let me know. Just let me know. Because you are a joke. They are laughing at you. I don't know where this comes from. Do you wonder? This is weird. Tim, when people laugh at you and you haven't even said anything yet, at least with Kamala, she's got to say something. You can just walk on stage with this weird kind of Alan Seuss meets Paul Lynde meets whatever the hell it is, and they laugh. Why are you doing this? Now, I don't know why it does that. We said something. We have kind of a friend who is absolutely so leftist, she's almost evil. I know that sounds horrible. I know it sounds like, but it's true. I don't get it. I mean, hates Trump, but it's so, okay. So my wife said, doesn't it seem to you odd that somebody, thank you, Christian Janice. Thank you, sir. He says, don't you think it's funny if somebody, and she said, look, I can understand somebody who maybe says, look, I'm just going to vote nobody or write somebody in or vote, Green Party or whatever. Fine. I don't like either of those people. Okay, fine. All right, fine. But for somebody to say, oh, no, I'm voting for Kamala. I'm voting for her. I don't understand that. And it's the truth. What are they thinking? How can you miss what we were talking about here? How is it that they miss this? This is the thing which I don't understand. And this is what we're dealing with, because there are people, remember, the enemy is not just, the quote Democrats, but it's your neighbors, people you work with, people who live in worlds that we just can't figure out. That's exactly what we're talking about right now. It's one of the strangest things I've ever seen in my life. It's one of the strangest and the most bizarre things I've ever seen. And I don't know necessarily if it must be that they just don't understand it. Look, I know some people don't like Trump. I understand this. I really do. I get it. I believe me when I tell you that. I understand it. I understand some people don't like Trump. But if you don't, as a practical, just as somebody who's involved in business or whatever, does not understand that what's going on here, you're going to miss it. Now, let me show some other things too. The production value, that which is provided by so many incredibly talented people, is something that is just off the charts. Watch this one. And remember, this is on the most important platform, social media, whether TikTok, X, Twitter, whatever it is. This means more than any of this nonsense on MSDNC or CNN or anything else.
And on June 14th, 1946, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God gave us Trump. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, fix this country, work all day, fight the Marxists, eat supper, then go to the Oval Office and stay past midnight at a meeting of the heads of state. So God made Trump. I need somebody with arms, strong enough to rustle the deep state, and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to ruffle the feathers, tame cantankerous World Economic Forum, come home hungry, have to wait until the First Lady is done with lunch with friends, then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon, and mean it. So God gave us Trump. I need somebody who can shape an axe, but wield a sword, who had the courage to step foot in North Korea, who can make money from the tar of the sand, turn liquid to gold, who understands the difference between tariffs and inflation, will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon, but then put in another 72 hours. So God made Trump. God had to have somebody willing to go into the den of vipers, call out the fake news for their tongues as sharp as a serpent's. The poison of vipers is on their lips, and yet stop. So God made Trump. God said, I need somebody who will be strong and courageous, who will not be afraid or terrified of the wolves when they attack, a man who cares for the flock, a shepherd to mankind who won't ever leave nor forsake them. I need the most diligent worker to follow the path and remain strong in faith and know the belief of God and country, somebody who's willing to drill, bring back manufacturing and American jobs, farm the lands, secure our borders, build our military, fight the system all day, and finish a hard week's work by attending church on Sunday. And then his oldest son turns and says, Dad, let's make America great again. Dad, let's build back a country to be the envy of the world again. So God made Trump.
That, of course, is that, of course, is the beauty of AI of some sort. That's not Paul Harvey. Sounds like him. Could be. This is the kind of stuff. You see, this is If I brought somebody in from another country, didn't understand, I'm saying, do you hear what's happening? Look at the way they portray him. Look at the way they make him out to be. This says it all. This is the thing which is the most important. This says it all. This does. Nothing else nothing. You see, you're never going to hear anything even remotely reminiscent or reflective of who she is. Nothing. You don't hear anything. There's nothing grand. There's no movement. People say, I believe in gay Mala. I believe. No, you don't hear that. That, my friend, is what's so critical. That is what I'm telling you this. All right, isn't that something? Now, let me explain something. Again, you look at this and you ask yourself, what is this? What is this? Look around you. This is the momentum. If there was, these are like, I hate to say it, like bed bugs. If you find one, there's a million. You've got to have enough people who like this to want to hear it, to want it. And we have some new things and new players that we've never had. Social media, Elon Musk. Don't ever discount. Oh, and this new refrain, JD Vance. Well, JD Vance is fine. JD Vance is fine. Now, let me just say something. If anything happens, it's because they've stolen fair and square. If something goes wrong, the only way it can happen is if problem with ballots, voting is interrupted. Remember what happened during the Rona? Anything that interrupts the physical process of it. Despite what people thought about voting machines, any kind of algorithm, whatever it was, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. But if there's ever a company in the future that wants to do that, they'll never do it again. Remember, there was a show on Showtime called Hacking Democracy. It was the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. Hacking Democracy. That was the name of it. And it showed how you can actually work with machines itself. So the good news is that you're not going to be seeing anything like that for a long time. You're just not. You're not going to be seeing anybody try that. But there's other ways to do it. And that, of course, is the ballot. And this is what I've been telling you. It is the most low-tech, easy way to get to the bottom of this. It is so simple. It is so perfect. It is precisely the way I would want to do it. I don't want anything involving, some kind of, what am I trying to say? I don't want to have any kind of, what am I trying to say? I don't want to have somebody come along and say that there's a problem with machines, whatever. It's like, no. I want to go for something very, very simple. The actual ballots themselves. Or getting there. The actual physicality of it. Because people are not going to be, believe me, it's going to be low tech. They're not going to be going for machines and algorithms. They're going to be going for things like having new swarms of new illegal voters in, or removing identification requirements, something along those lines. Absent that, there is not one place, one corner, one area, one address, one home, one neighborhood, one driveway, one closet, one porch or room in this country where anybody feels an enthusiasm towards and regarding him. Thank you, Kelly McKinnon. Thank you for that. None. Even Bruce Springsteen. We have a, hello, everybody. This is Bruce Springsteen. I'm here, and you're, that was like a gun to the head. It didn't work. And what did he say? And vote for because Donald Trump sucks and this is the worst. If I said, hey, listen, I want you to meet somebody. Who? It's this girl. You know, you've been dating. Yeah, I got a friend of mine. I want you to meet her. Really? Yeah. What about her? Well, you know, you've had some pretty lousy luck with women. Remember the last one? She was a drunk, or the one before that was a drug addict. Yeah. You can't go through that anymore. Oh, okay. Well, who's this girl? Because, you know, these women out there are crazy and you don't have a lot of time. Who is this girl you want me to meet? Well, we'll get to that. But, you know, before, because let me tell you something, that last one, in no other walk of life would you say, excuse me, why are you skirting with? Hi, waitress, what do you have on the menu? Well, let me tell you something. We're nothing that we have at our competitor. This is Wendy's, okay, because Burger King is, you know, nobody thinks like that except for this. Extra Mile says, if there's a World War III, could that impact the election for safety, all mail-in ballots? First of all, there's no World War III. There's no World War III. Not the way you know World War III, but there's no World War III. You know that, right? It's not going to be a World War III the way you think World War III is about. It doesn't work that way. You're not going to have, you know, flyovers. You're not going to have the Wehrmacht. You're not going to any of that stuff. You're not going to have that. Doesn't work like that. You're not going to have people coming here. If there is a war, it's going to be limited, and you know, there's no World War III. So the idea of there being this I guess there being some Hitlerian rise. No, we're going to see things like grid shutdowns. Let me ask you a question. Let's just do something right now. Start right now. I'm going to enlist you. All of you have been invited. You've all been invited, and you are part of the Uncle Lenny Lionel super duper secret police. We are this group of folks. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. We're trying to, let's say, destroy a country or part of our a system, and I'm bringing you in. And I would ask you, what can we do to destroy them that costs the least and that is the most effective? What would you say? What would you say? First one, if you can do it at all possible, never let people know you did it. If you want to be an assassin, if you want to be a sniper, if you want to be like all those people, the first rule is to get away. But also, we don't want people to know where it came from, who these people are, and why you did it. Doesn't work like that. Does that make any sense to you? Good. Who you are, where you are, we don't want you. So what would you do? You would shut down grid, banking, internet, water, sewage. You would go to infrastructure. That's one thing. Then, if you got some more time, then you're going to go after influence. If you've got some time, we'll bring in the second tier. I want to go after their sense of tradition. I want people not to understand who they are. You know, one of the stories that people, the thing that is missed, when Tucker met with Putin, and Putin said, let me give you a history. People here said, oh, it was so boring. And it goes to show you the reason why they thought it was boring is because people here in this country do not understand the necessity or the aspect, the reality of having history and having a frame of reference. They don't understand this. They don't get it. We do. We're more of the patriotic bent. We always talk about that. They don't. They don't see it. They don't get it. They don't act that way. They don't. So when somebody said, oh, that was, I'll never forget, that was like boring. No, this is a man whose history, you go back to Peter the Great, they're explaining it. No, Americans don't think like that. Our history is so bleak. I want people not to understand. You see what we did before? That little piece I did? Do you see when I showed you? Look at all of the imagery. Look at how much it means to us. It's either doom, God, Bible. This is very important. And I'm going to use these terms just for the sake of it, just for simplicity's sake. Conservatism. What are the images? God, Bible or faith, family, flag, history, military, salute, order, America, not individual. Notice how, not look at me, not I'm a non-cis, trans, non-binary, demi-queer. No, it's always about me. They never say, here I am, a part of the trans community, the trans world. Here I am among my brothers and sisters and theys. No, it's always me. Just me. You see how that works? Me. Years ago, somebody suggested the difference between weed and blow. In weed is, hey, man, remember Don't Bogart that joint? Remember there? Hey, this is great. Come on in. Under blow. Get away. It's mine. Get away. Mine. That's them. Me. Here's us. We. It's very, these thematic things you can't miss. Where do you hear that? Where do you hear this from? I'm going to say this just for purposes of shortcuts. Who are these people? What do they want? What is their purpose? What is their dream? What is their goal? What is this? What do they want? Abortion right. Name the issues that the left, again, for lack of a better word, what are the issues that they want more than anything else? What do they talk about? Abortion. Abortion is the beginning and the end for these. They love the idea of abortion. Okay, fine. No. They love the idea of abortion. Okay. No. You don't understand. They live in, okay, I got it. Abortion and something called climate change. And climate change has nothing to do with anything individually. This is how clever they are. They're saying we're going to completely disrupt, destroy, and ablate, excise, amputate this system in this country. But we have to do it by replacing it with this kind of a hippy dippy green, whatever it is. EV cars where batteries that cost more than a house. EV systems where if it rains, the car catches on fire. But the only way we can do this, we have to make people want to demand it. And we have to put them in the position where, by virtue of years and years of brainwashing, we have to get them to demand that we do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to make climate change a religion. And we're going to ask people, and we're going to say, don't you understand that the reason for all of these hurricanes is because of climate change? Now, if you said, don't you understand the reason for the sicknesses is because of immunizations, they would say, wait a minute. Trust the science. And they say, well, let me say the same thing for you. Where is the science that says the reason for these killer hurricanes? And not because you're not responding to them. Because remember, there's two parts about a fire. One is what caused the fire. And the second one is why nobody put out the fire. So they never talk about that. They're into the source. Their science, they say somehow the science has said that the climate change. No, it never did do that. See how they do this? It's just, and what's interesting is like our friend can be so pulled into this. I never knew how easy it was to indoctrinate these people into thinking this stuff. And it's out of a weakness. It's out of, I don't know what, this kind of a strange, misplaced superiority or something. But they really don't get it. They really don't understand it. So that notwithstanding, we have our work cut out for us. But and let me ask you something. Do you remember any time in your life, any time when people were so committed to this notion of American thought and what the word is, this sense of pride? And I can't think of anything. Maybe Ronald Reagan. Maybe Ronald Reagan sort of started that. Maybe. But maybe after 9/11. But I've never seen anything that has been engendered by the likes of Donald Trump. None. Never. I've never seen this. Never seen it happen yet. And these people should scare you because they're going to get very, very dangerous. And they're throwing everything at you. And the left, again, I hate to use these terms, but I will. The left can be told anything. Now, we are very, very close. It is so scary right now. You're probably like me in saying, I cannot believe that at this level, with all of the people that are out there, there are people, professors, judges, academicians, educators, business men and women, public speakers, actors, who are able to memorize and understand the the Democratic line. Attractive, tall, young, black, white, gay, straight, whatever you want. A bench, the depth of which you can't imagine. There are Democrats who are like the J.D. Vance of Democrats. Smart, young, military, whatever it is. And yet out of all of these people, they pick this dingbat. And you got to ask why. The name is M. I don't know if it's a man, woman, or a they. M says, just discovered you. Love your show, old timer. Promise me you will read a book for me. It's called The Iron Curtain Over America. Thank you for your personality. Yeah, well, I think it's well, no, but I'm experienced. I'm experienced. It's very interesting. I will say this, and I thank you for that. Do you believe, and I will say this, that when I hear the word Iron Curtain, socialism, Marxism, communism, no. Nope. Old. That's like saying, hey, I like to hear some good rock and roll. Anybody use that term? Nope. Is rock and roll that? No, that's not what we call it today. That's what happens when I hear words like Iron Curtain, and that's you're missing the point. That's not it. Or my friends say, well, I'm a libertarian. Oh God. Oh, here we go. Hackneyed phrases, ideologies, names of labels, left, right, Democrat, Republican. I use it just for shortcut purposes, but no. This is a different story. This is completely different. We're going to have to change our vernacular. We got to change and lose all of our connections to any kind of party. This is a different story. And let's do something also. I'm not interested anymore in diagnosing. I'm interested more in the observation. The diagnosis means nothing to me. I don't really care what it is. It doesn't. It's counterintuitive. what you call it. For example, why do you think? Why? Let me ask you a question. Why do you think it was written in 1951? Trust me. Oh, I appreciate that. That's good. But what I'm saying is, and I appreciate that. Let me see. Iron Curtain over America. It's also good. Give me an author. Give me a, let me see who this is. This is a book, Iron Curtain of America. This is John Owen Beatty. Is that it? Iron Curtain over America. Is that the book we're talking about? I guess. Let me see what this says. Let me read this. The book is unique. It not only discusses the internal decay and the external disasters which threaten the life of American people, but diagnoses the growing cancer of which they are merely symptoms. Going behind the Iron Curtain of author, former colonel of the Military Intelligence Service. Okay, that's good. That's wonderful. That's good. And by the way, I appreciate that. And that is not, it's good. But when I hear people who say things like, do you know why kids are obese today? It's like, here we go with that one again. Everybody's got something they've read. Read a Smedley Butler, the Wars of Rocket, the Pale Horse, the Mises people, Mont Pelerin people. Everybody has a reference of it. No, read this. Okay. I appreciate it. And I'm never trying to dissuade it. But I want you to do something right now. In 1951, the problems in 1951, I'm sorry to say this, was 73 years ago, granted, have nothing to do with what is happening now. This is a different story. You might say, well, yeah, but it's a different. It's like, for example, comparing thyroid cancer with brain cancer. They're kind of the same, but they're not. I've been fascinated by glioblastomas, which are in another orbit in terms of cancers. What AIDS is to disease. Again, I'm not trying to dismiss it, but remember, do me a favor. Only look back, a little bit of history. Look forward is what's happening now. This is brand new. EV push is like building trains with no tracks to run them on. No infrastructure outside California and Florida. It's a failure cloaked in saving the climate. Here's what I think you're right about that. Here's one for you. In 1951, do you think there was anything that they would call the notion of the conspiracy theory? When was Operation Ajax? Ajax was 53 of the Operation Ajax. Yep, 53. This is the Iranian coup d'etat. This is our own. In 1951, this was before the military-industrial complex, but the intelligence-industrial complex, so to speak. Before, post, Allen Dulles, Mossadegh, Kermit. Remember, Kermit Roosevelt. That was later. That was then. Remember this. Remember what I'm saying. It's a different story then. It's a completely different story. This is where we went for the first time and we sent out. This was later. Remember, Arbenz in Guatemala. This is before JFK. In 1951, coming right, Korea, that's a little different story. Different mindset. Remember, in 1951, what did they worry about? Cold War. Cold War is dead. Do you think there's any chance of a Cold War today? No. Does anybody here believe that Russia? Let me ask you a question. Does anyone here honestly, truthfully, seriously believe that Russia poses an existential threat to us? Russia. Anybody? And it's okay if you do. It's okay if you. Anybody believe that? Russia. There's no more Soviet Union. Do you believe that Russia somehow is going to infiltrate our way of thinking, infiltrate unions, spread communism. Does anybody even think that this was at the height of what was going on in 1951? Understand the mindset. It's the thing that scared them. And before that, what scared people even more, you forget these days, are the horrors of oh God, the horrors of God, anarchy. Sacco and Vanzetti, Emma Goldman, those people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the thing which is, remember what they thought. Anybody worried about that now? The notion of anarchy. Anarchists. It was a big deal then. Scared the hell out of people like you can't believe. It was something which absolutely blew people's minds. Do you remember that? Anybody? Anybody remember that? So it was okay then, but we have new. Who is our threat today? This is a fascinating story. Who is our threat today? What is the mindset now? Imagine meeting somebody from 1951 and saying, let me tell you who the enemy is today. Ask yourself, who are these people? Cheated No More says, I saw a comment speaking of how toxic, despicable, and bigoted Americans are, ending with saying, why can't people just be kinder to each other? Yes. Well, that by the way is interesting in terms of a kind of a religious thing. But let me ask you again. I'm so glad you brought this up, because I always have this this theory of speaking with a grandparent about what's happening today. What is the problem today? Does anybody think it's the Iron Curtain or anything from 73 years ago? M says Federal Reserve Act, Glass-Steagall, the Bretton Woods. I'm saying USA has been influenced over the yes, I understand that. And by the way, I appreciate this, but I want you to do something. Bretton Woods, Federal Reserve, Jekyll Island, Glass-Steagall, please do yourself a favor. Do not be one of these people, and I'm not saying you are, but do not be one of these people who exist at a party and say things like DARPA, HARP, the Liberty. Do you ever do this? Do you ever talk about the, do you ever do this? Talk about the Middle East. Talk about what's going on with Middle East, with the Gaza, whatever. Liberty. Okay, what are you doing? Liberty. Don't forget the Liberty. Okay, I understand Liberty. Don't forget the Liberty. Why don't they talk about the Liberty? Okay. Got the Liberty. All right. Now, if I say to yourself, okay, and by the way, thank you. If I said, okay, thank you. By the way, class, today is our friend, M, is going to be speaking. M, tell us all about Glass-Steagall, Federal Reserve Act, and special drawing rights and everything from the 1913 and 13th Amendment. I'm not 1913, the Federal Reserve Act and taxation. Tell them. And you stand up and say, yeah, it happened before. Okay. It was a bad thing. Yeah. And with the Federal Reserve. Yes. M, my question, any floor? Yes. M, is there any chance of the Federal Reserve being repealed? No. M, who is responsible for the appointment of the Federal Reserve chairman? And can a president remove the chairman? No. How effective was Ron Paul? Ron Paul and the Fed and Rand Paul. How effective? He was probably the single voice, along with, Mises, Hayek. Have you ever heard or looked at the Mont Pelerin Society? Let me see. This is a group of people. This is the Mont Pelerin Society. Their 2025 meeting. Please follow. This is in Mexico City. This is the libertarians, the Mises version of Bilderberg. Do you see this right there? This Mont Pelerin. Read this. You would love these people. You would love them. Classics. Okay, good. Now, I'm not trying to dissuade what you're saying. Does this help us right now? No. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Absolutely. Anybody want to talk about New World Order? Is that still here? Sure, it's here. Anybody want to talk about that now? Yeah. Anybody, you want to try to convince people of this? Yeah. Anybody? Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Anybody want to talk about 9/11? Oh, God. Did you ever meet those people? They're my favorites. My favorites. So remember something. This is important. I appreciate and I love the fact that we all know something. We all and sometimes we love to share with something like you probably didn't understand this. But I'm going to go back to the time about the Magna Carta. How believe it or not, the disgrace of a Magna Carta. And do you know how during the Civil War, the people who were responsible for helping us were the Russians? And let's go back to Lincoln suspending habeas corpus. Okay, this is great stuff. Great stuff. This is what I want to say. Not now. It's okay. It's good. Not now. Not now. There are some things. Imagine you've got somebody who is 95 years old. You've got a relative, you love her, it's your aunt, and you know she's kind of on the decline. And you say, "Listen, I just read something about a low-fat diet and exercise." Excuse me, she's 95 years old. Let her enjoy the past. You, honey, you eat whatever you want, you do whatever you want. You have lived this. Just don't even worry about it. Not now. Not that it's not important, but the patient is not going to benefit from this. I like when this is very sad. Everybody's period of life when they say, you don't have to have any more colonoscopies. Why? You're too old. See ya. Why? Because you're almost at the end. You're on the back nine. And wow. Does that mean colonoscopies are important? Of course not. But for you, now at this stage, it's a waste of time. I talk about myself finding a waste of time. I cannot tell you how many times people waste my time. Or they'll look at something and they'll think that satisfies, or that, hey, did you see Fox News? What about it? Hey, I'm going to send you a video. This drives me crazy. Hey, I'm going to send you a video. You got to see this video. What is it? No, you got to make sure you show Mrs. L this video. What is it? It's this woman. She talks about kids and they just watch the video. What does the video say? I don't know. I just want you to know that I watched the videos and that I know about these videos, and I want you to know about the video. I'm not saying this is you, Em, but I get this all the time. I want you to watch this guy. Okay. No, seriously. Have you seen, you remember the what's his name? The Russian who died of alcoholism, so they said. And he was talking about how the KGB would indoctrinate. You've seen this, whatever his name is. You've seen him. Hey, you got to see this one. You got to. You ever see years ago, the directed energy weapon video? I'm going to send you a video. This woman nails it. It's about this, a directed energy weapon, and they brought down this. Okay, fine. No, seriously. Tell me what. It's great. Well, at least they're interested in something. What is our takeaway from this? I don't know. And then you have other people, too, who pretend that they're talking about something, but they don't. For example, Luis Elizondo. I like him all. I got with the beer. And sometimes Tucker would have him on. What are they talking? If I see that Tic Tac video one more time, or the gimbal, well, what are you going to tell me about that? Oh, I don't know. I know that. Well, this is from a gun turret, and they finally released. Okay, what is it? Well, as far as we know, we don't have the type of technology. Okay, as far as you know, but what is it? You've shown me this Tic Tac video now for the 50th time. What am I supposed to do with it? What is this? How does this affect me now? What do you tell me something new? Well, I don't know about it. I'm just saying that, okay. We have right now the first thing, number one. Well, no, I'm looking outside and say, we are being invaded. They're coming over the hill. Everything else stops. Your cholesterol levels, your thoughts on rap music, everything is going to put on hold. Our immediate problem is we are being invaded. Or, excuse me, yes, the house is on fire. We have to get out. Everything else, just drop what you're doing, get out. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. Nothing. I know you want to discuss fire safety. We don't. We're going to die. We're going to die. Everybody leave now. We're going to die. That's where we are right now. It's called triage. It's called being able to identify what the problem is. And there are other people who don't. My other problem is people who don't understand it. They will never understand artificial intelligence. I heard a radio show the other day. He goes, well, it's automation. It's like, you don't get it, do you? You don't. You do not get it. One day, things are going to be. Imagine this. Let me just explain it. Imagine all of a sudden you're watching something and they said, there's breaking news. Everything's breaking news. The word has been breaking news. They used to have developing story, but they don't say that. Now it's all breaking news. Everything's breaking news. Let's go right now live to Tel Aviv. Okay. Well, that's right, Peter. This is Dick Azinia live for Tel Aviv. Reports are that Israeli missile batteries have all been turned off and shut down. And we suspect this might be at the hands of Hamas. And Hamas says, no, it's not us. No, not this time. Really? No, that's not us. Really? Mm-mm. Nope. It isn't? Nope. Well, who is it? I don't know who it is. Then we find out, excuse me, this just in, Hamas weapon systems have all been disabled and taken offline. Who is it? It turns out it is a rogue AI or AGI, artificial general intelligence program that on its own, using its own particular set, its own particular system of morality or worldview, believes that war should be abolished. So on its own, it kind of just created this program in which all missile systems are just deactivated. Who is this? The AI. Well, who is it? Nobody. It's on its own. It created it. It's like a little bee or something, or a bug that escapes. It's an 800-pound gorilla. An 800-pound gorilla who doesn't answer to anyone at all and has its own set of morals, and it decides it's going to do its thing this way. And it doesn't like what you. And you're saying, excuse me, who is this again? We don't know who it is. It's artificial general intelligence. It's created. It's a system created on its own. On its own. It's a. Okay, but can we turn it off? No. Well, where's it from? We don't know. Let me, you don't know. We don't know. We don't know how many of them there are. We don't know anything. Because when you created artificial intelligence, you kept thinking of some kind of a Roomba or some little, robot painting something or welding a joint at a Flint, Michigan car factory or something. This is artificial general intelligence. It's self-learning. It has consciousness. It's conscientious. It has morality. It is a perfect analog to the human spirit. What? This is what I was warning you about. But you weren't paying attention. You were thinking that it was a robot. No, you program robots. AI programs you. Good luck with that one. That's where we are in the future. M says, I agree with you. We have to move forward. Question is how. But it's important people understand what they are up against. Ron Paul. Yeah, it is. It is. It's important people understand something. You're right about that. But also, I want you to explain to something and explain to to a child this notion of this thing called money, and what is it, and what is fiat money, fiat currency, and gold standard. Let me ask you this question. One of the things which is really important to understand is the fact that there are people, observation versus proof. When I was in school, we had this thing called the black box. And the black box changed my life. It was this little box, a little black cube that you can slide up the top, put some junk in and slide it, and then they hand it out to us. I forget how young I was. We're going like this. Your first thing to do is you shake it. I hope there's something explosive in here. You shake it. You go, oh, wait a minute. Go like this. There's something spherical. It's round versus sliding. I can tell if something were sliding versus somebody rolling. There's a marble or something round in here. And there's something that's loose. It sounds metallic. And that's what it is. So from that, I create a hypothesis. Not a theory. A theory is something that can be tested again. But hypothesis is kind of like a guesswork. I think this is the way it works. It's like we're standing outside of a theater. I love this. This was the best analogy of an EEG, brainwave or something. You're standing outside of a stadium. You're hearing the noise and you're trying to guess the score. That's what we're doing. And we're doing all these things. We're saying, what is this? And we're saying right now, we appear to have a group of people. They are called Democrats, but I don't believe they're Democrats. I think it's almost like they've been taken over by a virus. And what they want to do is, it would seem a hypothesis, which makes the most sense, is that they are, I believe they are trying to destroy the superstructure of what we live in. I think so, because they're doing a lot of things. They're empowering. They're putting a bunch of very weird revolutionary people. Like if you have like Jumaane, like a Jumaane Williams, or what's his name, the mayor of Chicago, or one of those types, it would be like me putting in David Duke, or you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of some Jesse Helms, Strom Thurmond, which is what happened during the civil rights movement. When you start seeing these people emerging, you're wondering, who are these people? Why do they want? How did defund the police come about, and who is promoting them? This is what I want to know. So this is what we're doing here. We're trying to figure this thing out. Here's one for you. 9/11 happens. I saw what happens. I tell people, hey, this is what I saw. And these other people come in and they say, no, don't say that. Why? Well, we don't like what you have to say. That's it. Hey, I think I understand what happened, during COVID. Don't say that. Why? We don't like that. Hey, I think I understand what's happening regarding Ukraine. Don't say that. Hey, I think I understand the real motive behind what Israel is trying to do, but don't say that. Now, we've always had censorship, but why is there so many people coming out? And the people censoring me aren't the government, but people. It's not the thought police, it's the thought vigilantes. Why am I being censored by citizens? This is where we're going to leave off. This is what I want you to think, my friends. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what I want you to think. At what time are we doing that thing tonight, honey? Mrs. L is going to do a live. We'll do 8:30. We'll do 8:30. Mrs. L's got she is, oh my God, she's on fire. She is on fire like you can't believe. People are always talking, hey, what's that smell? I said, well, she's on fire. That's what you're smelling. You're smelling truth. By God. Now here is where she is. She's at Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. I want you to go right now and sign up. Watch what she's doing. She is talking about. Well, here's one for you. The story you should pay attention to is Diddy. Remember that guy? Whose name begins with the fifth letter of the alphabet, who had these islands and this place on the Upper East Side, and they kind of remember that guy? Yeah, that was nothing compared to Diddy. That was nothing. It was a joke. It was nothing. Nothing. This is a story that's going to blow the lid off everything. But because people say, because what they're saying is, listen, I know rap, but that's some black guy, and that's that music, and I don't particularly care for that music. And you know how those rappers are. No, 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 no. That's like saying, excuse me. That's like saying the NBA and the NFL are, those people. It's like, excuse me, that's a multi-billion business of those people. Yeah, yeah. You're missing the point. You might. People still look at rap and the entertainment and Hollywood as being some kind of a whatever. This is the story. So sign up for this. I'm telling you, I can't even begin to tell you what I'm hearing on the side. I cannot tell you oh my God. Now, I am never going to go out and tell you here on any particular platform, well, at LionelMedia.com, this is my own private channel. I can tell you what I'm hearing with the proviso, but I don't feel safe doing that here. But I can tell you that. Oh, I'm hearing stuff from people from the 50s, 60s, 70s now that we're hearing about. You have no idea the depravity. You have no idea. Do you understand what I'm saying? No idea. Now, before we finish too, have you been to mypillow.com and have you helped our good friend Mike Lindell? mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. This guy is still there. If you want, believe me. First of all, the products, I don't want you to, he's not a charity. He has the greatest pillows, towels, slippers, slides, blankets, duvets, toppers. He's got sales every 20 minutes. You can't even, every time I put up an ad, they change it. It's the most incredible thing. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. And I'm going to tell you one more time. I'm going to say it again. Listen to me. Just go to preparewithlionel.com. Just look. Look what they've got. Just look at this. Okay, this is serious. That's like saying it's a smoke detector. It's a good idea. Preparewithlionel.com. Save $50 on a 4-week emergency food supply. Just go there. Just look at it. Take your time. No pressure. And look at all the stuff. Preparewithlionel.com. Because I am telling you, God is saying, hey, remember the old joke? It's an old joke. It's a classic. And it's so perfect. There's a flood, water's up to here, boat goes by, he says, jump in the boat. And the guy says, my Lord will protect me. And the water's up to here. And the boat goes by, he says, come on, man, jump in the boat. And he says, my Lord will protect me. And pretty soon the water's up to here. And he's standing on his tippy toes and he can barely breathe. And there's a helicopter. They drop a rope. He goes, grab the rope. And he says, my Lord will protect me. And he drowns. And he goes to heaven. He goes, where's God? He says, I want to talk to you. I prayed to you and you let me drown. And God says, what the hell's the matter with you? I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. Sometimes we all have these wake-up calls. Sometimes you say like, whoo. Like sometimes like, hey, Uncle Dave, yeah, they found a spot on his liver. What? Yeah, he stopped drinking and you know what? That changed his life. Or they found a spot in his lung and he stopped smoking. It's like this little wake-up calls like, that was a close one. As a great Earl Thomas Conley said, ETC. We're looking at all these disasters. Look at it, Nashville, North Carolina, good people, and they're just abandoned. Elon Musk is there setting up, the government's doing nothing. Just go to preparewithlionel.com, see what's available. It's your life. I never thought, I always thought, the government will be there. Civil defense. Ooh, remember that? Civil defense. Hey, they're great. Now the government does nothing. And Poot, well, maybe I'm right. Pete Booty Giggity Giggity, whose last claim to fame was helping walls. By the way, yesterday, Mrs. L and I treated us. This is so sad. We have a wonderful pizza joint that we love in the hood, in Hell's Kitchen. I think it's the best there is. And you can get pizza is something you can get it with cheese or without cheese. You get it with veggies or mushrooms or whatever you want. It's still is the greatest concoction ever. And there's this place that we love, and they may not like me to say this because I'm not endorsing them, but the name is Justino's. The best. 2 locations. In the hood. What is it? 9th and 10th, right? They're like right there. Okay. So the other night, it's right down the street from CBS. By the way, in the front, they have, bless their heart, they have what's it called? Hero Warp. There's these warp, not rap, but they have like a Hero Warp versus a rap, and there's all these little typos. It's a great place. So anyway, so there's walls, and he's just looking at the pieces, looking at them and looking at them. It's strange, like, because he doesn't want to take the edge. Mr. Walls, why did you not doing all this full of shit? Is that a pizza? Is that what you call that there? Mr. Walls, why are you pretending anybody cares about the pizza? We know what you're trying to enjoy. You're trying to enjoy. Is that bread? It's like a pie, isn't it? And he was just focusing. I'm thinking, no, not this place. But anyway, what do you think they told him when he finally went home, when he went home and they said, Dad, what was that? Did you practice? Did you? Anyway, it's moot. Thank you, ma'am, or sir, or they, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're a fine American, and your generosity, your perspicacity, and your wherewithal are greatly appreciated. Cheated no more, thank you. Extra mile 150. He said that to you. And Kelly McKinnon and Christian Janice, we thank you for your love and direction, trying to keep me straight, moving in the right direction. So also tonight, Mrs. L, 8:30, after me at 7. Make sure you sign up for her. Oh my God. Wait, just her interviews. And she has been on, Nancy Grace has been on fire regarding Diddy. Also, she talks about the Menendez brothers and this complete waste of flesh. And that's a significant amount of flesh. Kim Kardashian, who now all of a sudden is speaking on behalf of the Menendez brothers. You weren't even alive then. I don't even know if she knows anything about the Menendez brothers. But it's a very interesting story. And the Diddy story, wait till you hear what happens with the allegations. Also, Lionel legal. I did 2 pieces yesterday on the notion of evil. And evil is one of my favorite subjects, especially killers. And 2 who deserve honorable mention. Not that we admire them because they're terrible people. Ed Gein or Gein from the 50s. And Gary Heidnik. Gary Heidnik was one of the inspirations of the Silence of the Lambs. He was in Philly. He had the basement. And you might get a kick out of this, in order to understand what's going on, how do you understand? How do you explain the paralysis of the soul when people go bad? How do you explain the mind of a serial killer? In any event, my friends, you have a great and glorious day. We'll be back tonight at 7. Don't forget to go to Lynn's Warriors. Sign up for her right away because she's going to be on tonight. And I kind of sit to the side a little bit. Just make sure everything's okay. She runs the show. I'm just, she's my wife. Make sure everything's okay. That's what we do. It's how we roll. All right, friends, we love you. Have a great and glorious day. Don't ever change your mean that sincerely. And until then, remember these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dad.